What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, depending on which editorial, publication, or even platform you opened up this morning, you may have seen a myriad of headlines as they pertain to Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA, mostly because Marvel Studios officially lifted the review ban today. The first headline I happened to see reported that Ant-Man: QUANTUMANIA was set to do $280 million in its global debut, setting a record for the best of the three films in the franchise, and really a number by any comparison metric, marking the film as a success. However, as the day started to wane on and the reviews started to come out with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 58 and quotes from Variety like, "If this is what Phase 5 looks like, God save us from 6, 7, and 8, it sort of has to make us ask, is the kickoff film for Marvel Phase 5 the one that starts it all for the multiverse saga and truly introduces the new Big Bad and King? Not a good movie?" We're going to delve into what all the reviews said today across the industry and what some reactions said or rather didn't say about this film. I'm then going to weigh in with my opinion about what all these reviews mean and what I think it actually means for Marvel as a whole. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway, which is less than 48 hours away. We're doing it on Thursday. So again, if you want to be entered to win this next PS5 giveaway that is only 2 days away, hit the sub button, leave a comment on this video, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so first up, and for the record, this is one of the Marvel movies over the last couple of years I actually didn't get to see a pre-screener for of any kind, so I will be seeing it just like most of you guys on Thursday. I've got my tickets for 3 p.m. And that's just a friendly reminder to not let anybody tell you how to feel about something. You're allowed to go and form your own opinion, and I would actually encourage you to do that regardless of what the reviews say. But to be fair, the reviews have not been kind to this film, and while there are some positives that they highlight, they all sort of speak to the same problem. Let's jump into what everybody had to say. This quote from Screen Daily: "Has greater stakes and a grander canvas than the more lightened previous chapters of the Ant-Man saga, although the results are more predictable than spectacular." Consequence said, "B+, the film might be the key to kicking off big arcs to come in the MCU Phase 5, but it doesn't forget to have a good time." USA Today said Jonathan Majors shines as Marvel's QUANTUMANIA veers off track. The Guardian said 3 out of 5. Rudd returns in his incredible shrinking suit to meet Kang the Conqueror in the subatomic realm, but familiar joys are absent. CNET said Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA is a lot of fun, carried along by a charming gang of goofball heroes dropped into a weird and wonderful world to a face of a villain who's big enough to change an entire franchise. The plot might not be anything innovative, but trippy visuals and some interesting themes prove that bigger isn't always better. Bleeding Cool, 6.5 out of 10, says a mess of a film that fails to capture the things that made the first two films great and chooses instead to spend its entire 2-hour runtime setting up for later payoffs. Collider gives it a B-, starts out as a promising Ant-Man film and quickly becomes the Kang show, for better or for worse, thanks to an excellent performance by Jonathan Majors. The Verge said watching the third Ant-Man film is sort of like being on a Marvel-themed acid trip that's actually pretty fun until it comes to a confusingly abrupt halt. Radio Times gives it 4 out of 5. The film is a great way to get Phase 5 of Marvel's master plan underway and also works perfectly as a standalone adventure. One of the few all positive reviews. Gizmodo said doesn't reach the heights of its previous two in terms of overall cohesion, but what it lacks there, it more than makes up for in raw ambition. Inverse said the problem with QUANTUMANIA is that it's not a movie. It's a building block, an undercooked, overstuffed action movie that feels like a shadow of better pulpy adventure send-ups before it. Now, those taken as a collection, a random group of reactions amongst some of the first publications to post on the film, does not sound like a ringing endorsement, rather a movie that's just focused on setting up everything else in Phase 5 than focused on being a good movie in the first place. But some of these quotes and taken out of context sort of make Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA feel like a worse movie than it might actually be. Surely all of the people who already saw the film and had mostly positive reactions are not all wrong, but I think Variety, yes, the same publication that had the worst of these quotes, really hit the nail on the head in the middle part of their full article review when they said this, quote, "Peyton Reed is out to conjure the deadly gravitas of an Avengers epic. Vast populations, whole strands of the multiverse are at stake. Yet since QUANTUMANIA claims to be a film about the manipulation of matter, we should probably ask, with everything going on in this movie, Does any of it actually matter? Yes and no. Quantumania is a state-of-the-art exercise in world building, and in the never-ending fantasy world, namely ours, that was built by J.R.R. Tolkien, Dungeons & Dragons, Star Wars and Harry Potter, sandbox video games, Lego assembly kits that can number 10,000 pieces, it's worth noting how axiomatic it is when people today use the phrase, quote, world building, they mean it as a high compliment. Yay, another world, another fun place for us to play in. Quantumania is fun, as well as bedazzling, relentless and numbing, then fun again just when you think you've had enough. All of that gets mashed together. The Marvel films have never pretended to be standalone entities, yet I've rarely encountered a Marvel adventure that is this busy with a do-or-die saving the cosmos plot that feels this much like it exists simply to set up a dozen chapters of something. But that's what happens when you're launching Phase 5 of the Marvel takeover of movie entertainment. Quantumania is no cheat. It sucks you in, hooks your eyeballs, wrings you out. But if this is what Phase 5 looks like, God save us from Phase 6, 7, and 8. And when you put those three paragraphs before that last quote, the author Owen Gleiberman is really enunciating the problem with Marvel films that they've suffered here in real recently, and that they do have to serve a greater narrative on top of serving as a good movie. And regardless of the narrative, the message, the goal, the directive of the film, if they're not good movies first, then all of that ends up becoming wasted. And I shudder to think about what may have happened if some of our favorite classic Marvel movies from Phase 1, like Iron Man, Captain America, or even some that came later, were forced to sort of have the same burden that all of the Marvel movies have now, not only carrying all of the setup that they have to, but also being compared to as many movies that people love that have come before. Honestly, it's a lot to think about when it comes to the future of Marvel, but where it starts and how it gets better is with the writing. And so I'm gonna go watch this movie, judge it on its writing and what I thought, its own merits, not based on what any of these reviews said, but these do sound eerily similar to a lot of the same reviews I've had when a Marvel movie, or really any movie, is focused on doing anything but being a good movie. Sometimes everything fails in the process, and I hope that's not the case for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but it surely feels like that's what a lot of these early reviews are trying to say in a not so nuanced or maybe even subtle way. But guys, let me know all your thoughts down below, especially if you're happening to see this in the next week after you've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And were these reviews spot on? Do you feel similar? I'm all ears as always. I'm trying to spend a lot more time in the comments hanging out with y'all as I'm deleting those spam bots. Speaking of which, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we are still giving away a PlayStation 5. The winner will be announced on Thursday live in the videos. So if you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will always be announced at the end of videos with my voice live and never in the comments. So should you get a spam comment on my channel or any other channel, the best thing to do is report those comments. It sincerely helps us out. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name Allfires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my channel out, stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.